Hello, this is Don Stewart, and I want to teach you how to make your writing flow. And I'm going to start by showing you an amazing numbering system. I like to call this section Flow After, and you'll see what that means pretty quickly. So let's get started with a real sentence by a real author and read to you by Jan.
Snape made them all nervous, breathing down their necks while they tried to remember how to make a forgetfulness potion. J.K. Rowling.
It's pretty easy to see that this sentence has two parts to it, and they're separated by this comma right here. And the first part, Snape made them all nervous, well, that could have been a sentence by itself. So let's see how the numbering system starts to work. We just put a number 1 in front of it. We'll keep the comma down at the end, and there you have it. A 1 plus the piece that could have been a sentence by itself. And we're going to call this a level 1. A level 1 could have been a sentence. In fact, that comma could have been a period. How about the rest of it? Well, that part could not have been a sentence, so we're going to kind of move it over, put a number 2 in front of it. So it's not a sentence, it's a level 2. Level 2. And take a look. We have the word breathing, which modifies Snape. So the information that's in the level 2 describes something in the level 1. And a level 1 is the part that could have been a sentence by itself.
At last they came to Thorin's dungeon, which was far down in a deep place, and fortunately not far from the cellars. J.R.R. Tolkien.
This one is similar. Again, we have two pieces. They have a comma in between them, and this piece is the part that could have been a sentence by itself, and that comma could have been a period. And that's your level 1. The rest of it is not a sentence, so we indent, and we have our level 2. And again, we can see that it's modifying or telling more about something. They came to Thorin's dungeon. It's the dungeon which was far down, so that's what this one modifies.
He got back up quickly, blinking in the darkness, his mouth warm with blood. Michael Crichton.
This time we have 3 parts. 1, 2, 3, and they are separated by 2 commas. The first part, he got back up quickly, is the level 1, and blinking in the darkness would be a level 2 because it describes he, and his mouth warm with blood also describes he. Now just take a look at that. That could have been 3 separate sentences, right? He got back up quickly, he was blinking in the darkness, his mouth was warm with blood. Boy, would that be choppy. So it doesn't take very much, does it, when you're thinking in terms of the numbers to lay these out. Find your main idea and then put a couple 2s and put the other descriptive pieces underneath it. That is flow after.
Cordelia sits with nonchalance, nudging me with her elbow now and then, staring blankly at the other people with her gray-green eyes, opaque and glinting as metal. Margaret Atwood.
Let's take it up a notch, and we have the level 1, and there's 3 additional pieces after it. Remember that a level 1 could have been a sentence, and the comma could have been a period. Then comes the nudging, and that modifies Cordelia, so that's a 2. And she was also staring blankly, goes up to modify Cordelia. And then, what about this next piece? Opaque and glinting as metal. Well, that's not Cordelia. What is it? It's the eyes. What number is that going to be? Yes, it's a level 3 because opaque and glinting describe the eyes. So that's the way the numbering system works. A 3 tells about something in the 2, and the 2s tell about something in the 1.
In the spring of 1906, all the world skated, especially young women of leisure, who admired themselves in the tight fur-trimmed jackets and new ankle-length skirts, which were worn with jaunty little caps in the skating rinks. Ellen Glasgow.
Take it easy. It's not that hard. Let's see, how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, where's the main sentence? As it has been all along, since we're doing flow after, it's the level 1 that comes first. So that's the level 1. Let's put it down. And it'd be good to get a little more specific than all the world. So let's throw in a level 2. One thing to point out here is that this comma right here could in fact be a period also. We could end the sentence right there. But there's sort of this reader on your shoulder as you're writing saying, wait a minute, could you please be more specific? So you want to get a little closer. Let's describe those young women. They were women who admired themselves. So the who points up to the women. That's a level 3. It's more specific. And I think we can move in even closer, sort of like a zoom lens on the camera. Tell me about those jackets and skirts. Yes, they are jackets and skirts which were worn with Johnny Little caps. So that's even more specific. It's a level 4. Now, we know about modification, about modifiers, but this kind of a modifier has a special name. These are called free modifiers. They're free because they're outside of or set free from the main clause, the level 1. So you have your level 1, you put a comma, you kind of escape that, and then you add the free modifiers. And we're going to learn how to put them after, as we're doing in this section, and then we'll have a section to put them before the level 1, and then actually inside the level 1. Free modifiers. That's where the good stuff is. Before we move on, here's a question I get asked all the time in my classes. How can you tell it's a level 1? Well, you know about sentences, and you know the definitions about subject and verb and complete thought and all of that. Well, I'm going to show you a much easier way to figure out where's the level 1. Let's take a look at all of the level 1s that we've had so far. First one, Snape made them all nervous. How do you know that's a level 1? Here's the trick. Just repeat it and then ask a question like this. Snape made them all nervous, didn't he? That is the little question you ask, and if it all works, you have a sentence. That little question is called a tag. So, to tell if it's a sentence, just tag it. Here's another one. At last, they came to Thorin's dungeon. Didn't they? He got back up quickly. Didn't he? You do the next one. Cordelia sits with nonchalance. Doesn't she? And the next one. In the spring of 1906, all the world skated. Didn't they? And what if the sentence is in the negative? Well, just think about it. This isn't too hard, is it?